back to another episode of Plant-Based Besties. I'm Joey Troxel.
I'm Debbie Chu.
And listen, I thought about like what we're doing here, right? We're kind of the vegan cocoon, right? Have you ever seen Cocoon, the movie, with all the old people that get taken away to a place that they never been? I feel like that's us, right? Like we're talking about we're both well over 40, right? But well, we're talking about how things affect us at our age, and really, I mean, it's definitely pertinent to everyone. But it's just kind of funny that you and I found each other, and we're kind of like these older vegans, right?
Which I think is fine. I mean, there's definitely a lot of us out there, and I think that gives people someone to relate to a little bit better than the 20 and 30-year-olds.
One of the problems that I had in this whole thing, for people who have followed me know this for the last 10 years, I kept comparing myself to someone much younger or to people much younger. And then, things would work for them, right? And then I'd be like, why isn't it happening for me this fast? And we are just not the same, right? Right.
Exactly. And I hear that in my comments too, that people can relate more to me because I'm closer to their age and I'm going through the same things. And I think there is a niche for us as well as for the 20, 30-year-olds. There's a place for all of us in this plant-based world, I think.
Yes, YouTube has a spot for all of us. So you've been really busy, right? Because not only is it the holidays, but you've managed to put out a cookbook.
Yes, I did, because I'm crazy. No, I wanted to get it out before Thanksgiving. That was kind of my goal. I have been working on it for probably a couple of years on and off, taking long breaks and stuff, because it was overwhelming to do all that. It's a big undertaking. And so then I put a goal. I'm like, I'm going to get it out by Thanksgiving. And then that kind of gave me the push to get it all. Because, I'm not super techie. So I had to learn a lot. So it took a while. But it's out now.
Yeah, I think processes like this or goals like this kind of force us to learn more, right?
Right.
And then, it is all about the journey. I think it's amazing. I love the picture of the tofu on the Easy Crispy Tofu on page 98. It's absolutely beautiful. Every time I just made potatoes before we're doing this. So I'm trying to get some food ready for the week. And I'm like, oh, tofu, like I've got plenty of that. I'm going to go make that. So I think the photography is really nice. I think it's nicely laid out. You've got the breakfast, the lunches, and dinners, right? And they're just meals that everyone has this stuff at home. So I really love what you've done here.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And then, the beginning is a lot of information about nutrition, exercise.
Yes, I saw that.
Hormone replacement, things like that. So things that, relate to me and my older self. So,
yes.
Yeah.
All right, so that's amazing. So today we're just going to talk about, it's the holidays, it's December, right?
Right.
How just some things that are pertinent being in our situation, vegan and maybe older or mostly just vegan, and how we kind of get through this time of year, successfully, right?
Right.
So let me put on the question on the screen here. And the first question is, or the first topic we're going to hit here. Food in the holidays, how do you manage and navigate this? So how do you do this? Because you have an extended family, right?
Right. And after I've been doing this for 13 years, so I kind of have it down now, is that I just always bring a dish for myself and to share. But just know that you're going to be eating higher calorie foods, and that's going to happen. So don't beat yourself up about it. And I always say it's a holiday, not a holiday week or a holiday month or whatever. So I try to contain it to just that. But I pretty much try to veganize things that, everyone else, like stuffing and gravy and all that. What about you?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. Last year I started the training program on December 7th. I walked into the trainer, so I did it during the holiday.
Wow.
which is pretty frustrating. And I just learned, and I started that process, and by January, 10th or something, I'd already lost 3 pounds of body fat. So if I can do that without even planning on it, then any of us can. But yes, like you said, it's a holiday. I think that, like that, I've already been texted from my school. I'm bringing bagels in the morning. And what kind of cream cheese does everyone like? I'm like, oh my gosh, like
Right.
I'm bringing a protein shake, right? Like, what do you mean, right? I'm like,
Right.
so, and then of course there's no vegan cream cheese, but I have peanut butter and jelly, which they got me last time, and so not PB fit, but peanut butter, right? So that's in the
Right.
basket. I'm just like, oh my gosh, we're doomed. So, I
Same at the hospital too, because patients bring in goodies for us. Oh, you're working through during the holidays. Here's the C's candy, and and everybody wants treats and everything. And I'm like, luckily most of them aren't vegan, so that
right.
saves me.
Yeah, no, they're on to me at work. So, but I think, uh, you kind of have to, I mean, it's a social thing. So at the same time, to be like, oh no, right? So I kind of just, oh, thank you. And I take a small serving, and I just don't overdo it, right? And
Right.
I really do try and track that stuff. I'm like, all right, let me go online. Einstein's plain bagel, that's 250 calories. I wasn't planning on that. That's got to come from somewhere, right? Uh,
Right.
and then I'll, if I'm doing peanut butter, 1 tablespoon, right? Like thin, and a little bit of jelly. Now that, 400 calories, right? So I know, like, well, good thing Monday's a gym day, so I'm going to burn off some of that. And then I'm just going to walk an extra few laps around my block. I'm just going to try and do some extra walking or some extra work. Well, maybe today's a good day to get the laundry going, right? Like I wasn't planning on it, but okay, right?
Right.
So on one part, I don't want to be a Scrooge and offend anyone. At the same time, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, let me dig in and jump in. And plus it's at work. So like you and I, like we need to get to work. So we can do a little bit and move on and
Right.
sit there.
And I
So
think you hit the nail on the head with you're tracking it.
yeah,
And that really keeps you in line because you know where you're at and you're not going to go too crazy. If you're not tracking it, you're like, oh, that's probably that you're guessing,
yeah.
but you use that chronometer and it's like right there.
I also learned from my trainer that you're looking at calories for the week. I know we break it up into a day, but it's really
Right.
the week, right? 17,000, 20,000.
Right.
So you can have, which they call a refeed day, I guess, where you can have a higher one day and then you'll lower your if I ate 500 too many calories on Monday, then I'm going to take 100 extra calories Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday off, right? And I won't even
Right.
feel that, right?
Right.
And then I'm good. So I guess the thing not to do is go, oh man, well, it's over, right? I'll just pick it up tomorrow, right? Let me have
Right.
3 more bagels, and I'm gonna stop at Taco Bell on the way home because they have the vegan bean burritos. So,
Right.
yeah, I feel like damage control. Have some fun on the holidays, but
Right. But just like the next meal or the next day, you're going to get right back on it.
yes, for
Yeah.
sure. And then I think really with Christmas Day or Hanukkah or any of the days that you're celebrating the big days, like you said, for sure, bring even if everyone's vegan, still bring a tray of your own because they're probably not cooking lower calorie, higher protein, that sort of
Right.
thing. You can at
Yep.
least bring something that you can fill up on if you really feel like you need to eat. So I feel like we just want to be aware and make the best decisions we can, but know that it's just one day. And really, what you're looking at your intake for a week, you have other days to kind of fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well said.
So I think we're both the same on this one here.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So our next topic is how do you successfully integrate vegans and non-vegans at the holiday meals and gatherings? We've both been doing this for many years. So I think our view of how it would happen in the beginning is completely different than how it really happens now.
Totally. Totally. Yes. And in the beginning, I would get really, almost like hurt feelings that there wasn't anything for me to eat, And now it's like, don't expect anything, I don't expect people to make special allowances for me. Eat the way you want to eat. I will be in charge of the mashed potatoes and they will be vegan. Okay. So, and everybody's fine with it. They don't know the difference. Oh, these are great, but I just had to stop expecting that somebody was going to go out of the way and make something all special for me, and it's like, that's not going to happen. And it's fine. It's totally fine. Thanksgiving was great. I brought my tofu. I made the mashed potatoes. I had my cranberry sauce, a little stuffing. I'm good to go. Veggies. Yeah. And like you said, everybody kind of is onto us now in our family.
Yeah.
But if you're new to it, then you might want to just, bring your own food and just say, this is what's working for me right now. You guys enjoy your food, and I'm going to enjoy my food, you know.
I have this Thanksgiving story that I always tell. When I first met Tim, and we were going up to his mother's house in Fargo, North Dakota, for Thanksgiving, and she makes this giblet dressing every year, like with the pieces of the turkey and all of that. Like, it sounds horrible, but people love it. Like the idea of giblet. I mean, I'm sure it's amazing, but like just what it's the parts that they don't use for everything else, right? And everyone in the family loves it. Everyone shows up waiting for this dressing, and I was like, "No thanks. We made a separate one for me." So I ate that, and of course there was a lot left. No one would eat it, but me. The next year we went back and did the same thing, right? Except she put her giblet dressing in, and we made a separate pan for me. They look identical, right? It's just I didn't have any of the turkey stuff. And dressing, of course, is well, I guess dressing is the stuffing outside of the bird, right? So we put both of them in, and hers burned, like burned, right? And she was like, "Oh my gosh, the people are coming here for this." I'm like, "Just serve them mind, they're never gonna know. I'm telling you, right?" And we
Right.
did that, and no one knew the difference, right? So, and that was kind of the beginning of his mom realizing that, oh, what you're doing like isn't really that different. And since then she's now like eating cashew milk and like tofu, like all the stuff.
Right.
But so we started out, like you said, just kind of a separate dish for ourselves, and people eventually kind of get onto it. One of the things that's funny is that my friend Greg, he invited me one year to a barbecue. One of the first years we were friends, and this is what he says to me. He's like, "Joey, I'm inviting you to my summer barbecue. It's an all-out bash. I want you to come because I love you very much, but I assume that you're just going to bring your own food and you know what to do." And I was like, "Yes, thank you very much." Right? Like
Yeah,
how? Like exactly. Right? Like don't
I
not
know.
don't be like, I don't. What do I do for you? Hey, I'm inviting you. I know you're going to bring something. It's a barbecue. You must have a burger or something.
And I would rather people do that because not everyone knows exactly what vegan means.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure you've been in those situations like, oh, well, there's butter in it. And you're like, yeah, that's not vegan. So sorry. And then you don't, and then they're like, oh, then they feel bad. And I don't want anybody to
Right.
feel bad. It's like, I'm totally fine, and because it's not really about the food, it's about family and being together. So it doesn't matter what you're eating, to me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you, we probably both do this. I don't want, what I'm doing, which is my choice, to make everyone else awkward, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and so I don't want you to have to do something extra or make something extra or do something different, right? Just do what you normally do. I'm fine. Like I'm totally prepared. I am prepared at any time, right? I'm not going to die of starvation. I'm good, right? So
Right.
seriously, I got places to go. I've got options. I've got stuff in the car if I
Yeah.
need it. Like I'm good. So
Right.
okay. So I think the key here is that start out right, being prepared with something, and don't have really big expectations. And then as you go later on, things kind of change in your family, and you start incorporating some of your stuff in, and that's it.
Right. And then know that they may give you a hard time in the beginning, and then just kind of prepare answers for them, in a loving way, that just this, I'm doing this now, it's what's working for me, or whatever you want to come up with, because you don't want to have some confrontation on the holiday, you know.
So that's another thing I've learned, right? So like I remember again the same Thanksgiving where we go up there to Tim's mom, and it was the year Lex was born, and I became a vegetarian at the time. And one of the uncles or the sister's husband was like, "Well, you eat deer, right?" I'm like, "No, I don't eat deer." Right? I'm sorry, right? And he's a hunter, and he was like the masculine hunter guy with the guns in the wall and all that. Um, Forward to 15 years later, he gets divorced, right? Marries a vegan, right? Was eating tofu. His son, same thing, marries a vegetarian. Like they're in Utah and some animal preserve. Like you, it's best just to be who you are and plant these little seeds,
Right.
right? And then
Lead
water
by
them.
example.
Lead by exactly. And then I've had people like make a big deal, right? And then like years later come back to me and go, "Listen, I just found out like I have heart disease and all this. Can you help me like come up with some food?" And
Yeah.
you want to go, "Bam, I told you, why didn't you listen?" Instead, you're just like, "Hey, yeah, I got some ideas. Let's look at this." Right? And you have
Mhm.
to totally be like So yes, confrontation, no,
Yeah,
right? People are like, well, what do you mean you don't eat me? Blah blah blah. And you can just be like, this is
yeah.
just
You're not going to change their mind. They're not going to change your mind. So just
not
have a
right
nice
there.
time.
Yeah, not right there. But
Not right there. Right.
life has a funny way of forcing you to make choices at times.
Yeah.
And there's something about like, arteriosclerosis and all that, where you're like, okay, I don't really want to die. Maybe I need to make some changes. Right.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think that just, I mean, you brought up not making confrontation, and I've just learned over the years to plant seeds and watch them.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. And let's look at our next topic here. And that is, how do we stay motivated during the holidays to work out and exercise? We've talked about food. Like, we got a few tricks for food, right? We're in, we're out. Like,
Yeah.
you can see us, right? But like, isn't it just pointless? And we're gonna all start we're all gonna start a new life in January, right? Like,
Right.
why bother? Why put ourselves through this?
Well, yes, that's true. And we're always so busy during the holidays. You've got parties and just things going on. You're shopping, getting the tree, getting the lights or whatever. And, exercise may go out the window. So just do what you can. I try to like get to the gym, but if I can't, then I'm going to do, like you said, I'm going to go for a walk and just kind of, park the car far away, use the stairs, just try to get those little things in there. Because, sometimes you have the best intentions, but life gets in the way. And December is one of those times it's just really hectic. But, you should, what I was going to say is I've made it a habit to go to the gym. So it's not so hard to go. It's like brushing my teeth. I know I go on these 3 days a week and I just keep doing it, even though if I don't want to. There's a lot of times Friday, I did not want to go to the gym. It would have been so easy to stay home, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go, and so glad I did. And like your gym, it was pretty empty.
Yeah, yeah. Did I text you from the gym, or did I?
I saw your story or something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, the day after Thanksgiving, right? Like, there were a few people. It was a Friday, right?
Yeah.
Dragging themselves in. They're like, "Oh man, like I ate so much turkey," and I just didn't, right? Like, we didn't cook a big meal. I had like seitan, right? And that was it. And I tracked my calories. I just didn't do it, and I felt great the next day. And I've been through so many years of feeling the next day like, oh gosh, I'm just so full, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't do that. I think with the gym, I'm paying a trainer, and there's something about paying him 30 days in advance, right?
Yeah.
Where he gets paid, and if you don't go, he don't care, right?
Right.
Something about that makes me go. Like, I'm not missing it. So I schedule it every day. It's right next to my school. The minute I leave work, I go right there before I do anything else. If there's a school event, which happens, there's a play, there's a Christmas program, there's all that stuff, and I get it in the morning. I don't want to work out at 5 a.m, but sometimes I do. So I'm just cheap. Like, we both work really hard, and I'm a teacher salary, so I can't afford to throw money out the window. And so I make sure I go because I'm paying in advance. If I don't pay him, then I'm not going. Right? Like, just about every day, I don't want to go to the gym. I'm always like, I could be doing anything else, right? Like,
Right.
I've got stuff to edit at home. I got to get home and put solar panels on the roof. I got a lot going on, right? Like, something, right? So I'll make up any excuse. But knowing that I paid this guy, and I'm like, yeah, where's my stuff? I'm going.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that is a good motivator for sure.
Money for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't want to take all that time off and then just start in January, because then it's going to be just torture for you.
Yeah.
Just torture. And the gym's going to be packed with all the people that are like, let's go. So I just keep going the best you can, and then you'll just slide into January, no problem.
I think we continue to do what you can in December, but don't expect to walk out of December like really thin, right? Like, it's a hard month, right?
Yeah.
So, but you're at least minimizing any damage.
Exactly.
Right? And then in January, you don't have this gigantic hill to go up. You've got just a little bump, right?
Right. Yeah. I agree.
All right, so there's some of the things that we're doing to navigate. I swear every year it's different though, and I feel like there's new things being thrown at us. What did you do for Thanksgiving?
What did I do?
Yeah,
I went to my mother-in-law's house, and my husband's got 4 brothers, and they all have wives and kids. So there was about 21 people there. Yeah. So we had there's a lot going on in the kitchen, So it was great though. I mean, we all get along great, and it was fun. So, and that's kind of the tradition. We go to her house. She's got the big house.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that we're both away from our families in Phoenix. No one's near us, right? Which is a blessing and a curse, right?
Right.
There are times when it's amazing, and then the holidays come, you're like, oh man. For a long time, we would just fly home to Fargo all the time to his family, and then see my family during the summer. And this year we weren't doing anything. And even the last few years, I would post a thing on Instagram or actually on Patreon or one of the places. Here's our Thanksgiving table. And I'd work all day for just the three of us to make a meal. We'd eat it, and I'd feel sluggish, and then we have to clean it. And I was like, why am I doing this? So I was just like, can we just do something else? Like, there's food in the fridge. We'll just eat regular food, but can we do something else? And then Tim was like, well, can we make soap? And I'm like, yeah, we haven't made soap in so long. We spent Thanksgiving, like our kitchen island had all these different soap things, and we got 2 crock pots. That's what we did. We made
fun.
Yeah, and it was fabulous, which we wanted to do for a while, just because, and just by not kind of, like, it's just 3 of us. I mean, my son is Lex is a teenager. He's in college. Yeah, he could care less what we have for food. Like, he just doesn't care.
Right.
Yeah. So, and who am I making this big dinner for? Because it's a tradition. I mean, it is, but there's just no one here. So I did look on. I'm part of this group, Happy Phoenix Vegans, where they all share these different experiences. And one of them was someone in there was having a potluck at their house, and I was like, "This is great. This is exactly what I need. I don't cook a big meal. I'll make a side dish. I'll bring it with me." But they're in Chandler, which is an hour away. So I just didn't want to go that far. But if someone had something local, not me, but someone else, right? Then I would have went and partake. So
that's a good idea, because a lot of people don't have family where they are. So that's a really good thing to do too. But also, it's like you said, who are you making this meal for? And why are you putting all the pressure on yourself? So I think you did the right thing.
I think so too. Just because, I mean, I don't even appreciate it when I go to all that trouble. Lex does, and it's really just Tim. And I think afterwards we're always like, we did too much, right? So I don't really. All right, so I guess for December, there's a long month ahead of us. Let's all try and be careful on what we're doing, and don't sabotage ourselves. And then next month in January, we'll have possibly a special guest. And I don't mean our husbands. I mean like a YouTuber.
Like a real guest.
Yeah, a real guest, right, on our little show. So maybe that'll work out, we're hoping. And we'll have a whole new how to have a successful 2025, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Just take the pressure off of yourself this month. Just go with the flow, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, just survive this month. Just do your best.
Yeah, just survive. Don't expect to lose weight. My goal is always just don't gain weight or 1 pound. But
yeah, eat at maintenance. Just eat regular calories, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So Deb, your channel, Chew on Vegan, which is where this video will be on. Mine, Plant Based Dad. So check us out. And that should wrap it up. Thank you.
Check out my new cookbook.
Yes, check out the new cookbook. There is a link below this video in the description. Deb's going to put it in when she puts this on her channel.
Yep.
And it was on the screen for a while, so you can purchase that. I am going to make some recipes at it, and probably do a video or 2 on it. So.
Oh, good.
All right.
I'm excited for you to do that.
Yeah, me too. All right, guys. Well, we will see you all next time.
Yep, we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.